Hi, this is Lori from Real Cinema Therapy, here with another Pluribus video. This is a review for episode 8 called Charm Offensive. Carol and Zosa are playing a game of cat and mouse, but the question is, who is the cat and who is the mouse? If you are new here, please like and subscribe to the channel so you will be notified when the next episode drops. Now, let's get into it. Let's talk about the title of this episode, Charm Offensive. The Charm Offensive is what the Hive and Zosa use to seduce Carol. Zosa is using her charms. She's being sexy, funny, playful, a game to keep Carol in check so she won't cause them any more trouble. It's an offensive play. They are taking the shots and they're winning. Zosa charms Carol. They go on dates and play games. They are touching and becoming more intimate, with Carol even sleeping next to Zosa at the Hive's dormitory, all to sweep Carol off her feet. The Hive knows Carol does not want to join them, so they need to keep her busy, keep her entertained, and if she falls in love with Zosa, she will no longer be a threat to the Hive, because to destroy the Hive would be the same as destroying Zosa. Zosa is the perfect one to accomplish this, and it's working. She jokes around and displays a wry sense of humor, just like Helen's sense of humor. Ironically, there is a shot in the episode when Carol is looking at Helen's grave, and we see a reflection of Zosa standing where Helen's grave is. Is Zosa imitating Helen to further the Hive's mission in sucking Carol in? Carol knows it's happening, but she needs Zosa. She can't be alone. She felt like she was dying without anyone there beside her. So Carol will grab onto Zosa for dear life, even though she knows Zosa is poisonous. She is just like Georgia O'Keeffe's Belladonna painting that we saw in episode 7. Carol is attracted to that beauty, but she knows how dangerous it is. It's sucking her right into its core. Later on, we see Carol and Zosa outside, and they see a train in the distance. Carol says the train horn is the loneliest sound in the world. It's an interesting comparison to how Carol really feels about herself. Carol experiences her life this way. She is like a train traveling alone. People may cross her path, but she does not feel anyone is walking beside her. Until now. A train's horn says, "I'm here." It is loud and makes its presence known just like Carol does. Carol makes a ruckus and makes sure everyone hears her. In the last episode, she was shooting off fireworks and singing loudly, trying to get attention. She wants to connect, but doesn't know how to do it in any other way. Zosa responds by saying she did not know Carol viewed a train that way. She pauses and then creates a horn sound. Carol was impressed and asked her how she does that. Zosa explained that the information is just there, available to everyone, an electromagnetic field connecting all of them. It's not technological like a radio, but instead biological like breathing. Carol continues learning more about the Hive from Zosa. They sleep dormitory style to preserve energy and resources. They are building an antenna to reach other planets to spread the virus, and how they communicate using their own body's natural electrical charge. Carol writes all this information on her whiteboard. Is she secretly plotting to reverse this virus? Carol has been annoyed with Zosa's use of we. Carol asks her to say I instead. She wants Zosa to be an individual. She wants her to break free. Zosa said it's hard to say I, but she said she will try to do so. Then they go to a diner Carol used to frequent when she was a struggling writer. Zosa is eager to hear Carol relive the happy times she had there. Then Carol realizes the diner burned down, and this was rebuilt by the Hive. Carol leaves the diner upset. Zosa follows her home. Carol confronts her. She accuses Zosa of trying to keep her occupied, of distracting her. Carol says, "Even if I end up alone again, I'm not going to stop trying to reverse this." She asks Zosa if she understands this. Zosa said she does, and then she kisses Carol. Carol pulls away at first, but then chooses to kiss her back. They have sex, and afterwards something shifts. Carol is inspired and starts writing again. She begins a new chapter in her romance series, and for the first time, she writes the hero Raban as a woman who looks and reminds her of Zosa. This is something Carol had always wanted to do, but never allowed herself to believe her audience would accept Raban as a woman. Now Carol is claiming herself, embracing her sexuality publicly, like she hadn't done before. Writing this chapter is both creative and freeing for her. Zosa seems to be genuinely excited by Carol's writing. She says they don't have any new material to read. The Hive knows everything that already exists, every book ever written, every story that has already been told. What they don't have access to is new creations, something in the works, something developing. Carol's writing invites her to use her own imagination to figure out where the plot may go. This is not something the Hive does. So is Zosa responding in a more personal way? Maybe as Zosa the individual. Carol takes notice of Zosa's enthusiasm. The next morning, Carol asks Zosa what her favorite food is. Zosa says mango ice cream and tells a story about having it in her childhood. For a brief moment, it appears like Zosa steps out of the Hive and into herself. Carol notices the shift and thanks her for sharing the memory. Is Zosa starting to have glimpses of who she was from her own perspective? Or is it part of the Hive's game to make Carol think so? Leave your comments below whether you believe the Hive is just playing with Carol. I tend to think this is real. I believe by Zosa referring to herself as I and reading Carol's new chapter, it's starting to affect her. She is breaking away from the Hive for just seconds at a time. Carol notices and sees the possibilities. I think she will continue writing this novel to free Zosa from the Hive. Carol may have unlocked the secret to reversing this whole thing. If Carol can unlock Zosa from the Hive, then Carol also becomes the belladonna painting. She is poisonous to the Hive. She can destroy them by creating, because creativity is not predictable. It requires perspective and desire, and to have perspective and desire, you must be an individual, not part of a collective hive mind. Zosa was excited. She discussed plot points and was anticipating the direction the story would go in. If Zosa becomes an individual through her desire and love for Carol, it would break the Hive's hold on her. Now, it's a question of whether Zosa really is remembering the mango ice cream as Zosa the individual, or is it just the Hive recalling it? If she does separate from the Hive, who will she be? Will she love Carol or want to get as far away as she can? These are interesting questions and will ultimately influence Carol's decision. Would she risk losing Zosa and end up alone again? Now let's talk about Minos. He wakes up in a hospital in Panama after surviving the infection from the chunga plant. He leaves against medical advice, even threatening a doctor with a scalpel. Minos cannot tolerate being indebted to the Hive. He believes in fairness and honesty. He pays for things. He sees the Hive as thieves and wants no help from them. He insists on paying for his treatment. He adds the ambulance cost to his bill. He signs an IOU, and then he leaves in an ambulance heading towards New Mexico, committed to reaching Carol so they can save the world together. The episode ends with Zosa telling Carol she will have a visitor. Carol now faces the choice spelled out by the season's finale episode entitled La Chica o El Mundo, the girl or the world. It seems Carol will have to make a choice between saving the world or Zosa. Carol understands the cost. If she reverses the Hive, she may lose Zosa. Zosa the individual might not love her, might not want her. Carol knows this. Right now she has connection. She is not alone. Is she willing to take the chance? Will Carol join Manusos? Will he try to harm Zosa? Or will Carol end up killing him? These are some interesting questions. I feel Manusos will die. I think Carol will end up taking him out to save Zosa. And then she will realize she destroyed the only other person who could help her restore the world to what it once was. I hope you enjoyed my review and predictions for the next episode. Leave your comments below, and I hope to see you all in the next video soon.